So, hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So, today we are doing my April wrap up, and I usually divide these into two parts because I read too many books. However, for April, I didn't read that many. I read 14 books, and 14 books is not that much for me. I usually read like around 25 maybe. So, I have made myself a coffee, and I think you should do that too. I don't know how long this will be. So, why don't we just start with the books? So I need my journal just so I am able to, see what books I read because I have a small brain. And I'm going to put some pictures up here just because I read a lot of ebooks and audiobooks, especially ebooks. I read a lot of ebooks this year actually, and seeing that, it just makes things easier. And to me, when I see that, I actually really enjoy reading ebooks. So yeah, because I try to read a book on ebook before. I only buy books when it's in a series. I know I love the author, or it's like a favorite. So let's just, or it's my favorite author or something like that. So let's just get into it. So the first book I read was, is it Gail? Gail, I guess. And it's really strange to, actually talk about what this book is about. It's basically about fish. And that maybe sounds, it's a horror about fish. Basically fish that comes up from the water, and it's very strange. It's 500, I think it's 500 pages with just strangeness. I think it's 500. 300, can't be right. Like 400 or 500 pages of just, weirdness. I gave this 4 stars. I wasn't afraid. I've never been afraid of fish though, so I love go fishing. I don't like to kill the fish though, so yeah, but it didn't scare me, and I mean, I want to try more Ginger Ito. It's not like he doesn't have that many books out. Like, I have like the 3 really like tomes that he has that are like from like 500, 600, 700 pages. So I really want to try those out. So, and then the next book I read was Tales from the Front, and this is a short story in the Air Awakens series. So this one you should read between book 2 and 3. And what the Air Awakens series is about this girl called Vala. And basically, she lives and works as a librarian. However, when the prince is it's war in this land, and basically what happens is that he's hurt, and the librarians are tasked with finding something that can heal him. And basically Vala finds that, and then it's discovered that she has powers. She is basically, they have different powers based on, air, wind, earth, water. So she is air. So she's an air awakener. So basically she can do things with air. And that brings a whole new world to her. and basically she must deal with the consequences that it is. And I give these 4 stars. Overall, I really enjoy this, and it's definitely easier to read this now that the third book also is out. The whole series is ready to go and, ready to be read. And that makes things really easier, just so this is kind of an overlap between book 2 and 3 in like different perspectives. And that basically, like, I wouldn't say spoil the third book. It just, it kind of gets some spoilery into the third book, so definitely can't wait to read the third book this month. And then we have Muted. And basically, I don't remember this girl's name. It's basically set in verse. And it's about these friends, and they want to become stars, like some sing stars. Sing stars, that sounds weird. And basically, they get picked up by this man who is a singer himself, and he wants to help them become famous. But basically everything is not as it seems with this guy. He is super creepy, I have to say. And yeah, it's just basically he has all the power and she has the voice. He's really like trying to, I don't know what he's trying to with this character, And yeah, I gave these 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I will say I don't know if everyone will be pleased with the ending of this story, but how this book ended, I just feel like this is how some things do end. I gave this 4 stars. I really like this, and I think I said I gave it 4 stars before though. But I would definitely try it out. It doesn't take that long, and there are some, discoveries that are just, I was nerve-wracking, Then I need to change hands. Then the next book I read was Sleeping Giants. And in this book we are following Rose. And when she was little, she was out biking. And basically she fell down a hole. And when she is lifted up, they discover that she was in a large metal hands. And then we skip ahead like many years, and now she is this, like Rose, she leads a top secret mission to find this mystery of where this metal hand came from. And basically they discover that it's more pieces out there, and now they are kind of trying to get every piece together. And yeah, there are some twists in here. It's in like interview format, and you don't know who the interviewer is. So I definitely want to continue on with this. I give it 5 stars. It was really really interesting, and I can't wait to continue on with this series and see how things is going, because at the end there are so much up in the air and you have no idea about anything, to be completely honest. You have no idea on anything. The next book I read was 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl, and this is about a girl. I don't remember her name, or she's, yeah, girl. She's more like grown up though. And basically she has never liked her body, and it's basically her discover a lot of things. And yeah, I don't know how to explain this book. It's a pretty short book. I gave this 3 stars. I liked it, but It was just a few things I didn't like. It was really real because um, she got thin. You know, she was constantly dieting, and yes, when you are doing that, I guess a lot of people, you know, they start obsessing that they have to eat this to, you know, not get fat again. But I just felt like she was so negative. And what I want a book about, like being um, with a larger main character. I just want it to be body positive. And I just felt like this was really destructive. So yeah, I guess some people will like this, but I liked it enough, but it wasn't like a new favorite book. Um, then I read Tales of the Lost Horizon, and I got this off Net Kelly. And this is just like different poems and like short stories about different things like fantasy, sci-fi. And I like the poetry more than I like the short stories. Now I am not that big fan of short stories though. I gave these 3 stars. It was okay. I liked it, but it wasn't like a new favorite thing. Just because I didn't have a connection with the characters in the short stories, and you know, some of them were good, some of them were better than others. The next book I read was Elantris, and this is the first book in the Cosmere universe. And basically, in this one, we are following 3 different people. We are following, the persons we are following is Princess Sareen, and she comes to this country to basically marry the prince. However, when she gets there, she is all of a sudden the widow to the prince, because the contract says that if he died, then she would become his wife no matter what. Then we are following this priest that comes to this place called, is it Rotten? And basically he comes to, you know, turn them over to his religion. If not, they will attack them. And basically what these 2 people don't know is that the prince didn't die. He basically got stuck, like he basically got an illness that made them throw him into Elantris. And Elantris used to be this grand city where, you know, people who were like gods walked around. And basically, something happened 10 years ago. And basically what happens was that people they like lost their hair and got really sick, and everyone who gets this disease get thrown into Elantris. So basically the prince is in here and he's trying to figure out what actually happened to Elantris. I give it 5 stars. It's Brandon Sanderson's first book, so it's not like the best, but I just love this. And it starts out pretty slow, but when I got halfway through, I did not want to put this book down. And I think that if you want a standalone book that is still a standalone from Brandon Sanderson, I maybe would recommend starting with this because the next book you need to read in Cosmere Universe is a trilogy called Mistborn. But if you want to start with a like series, I would start with Mistborn. I would not start with his like big fat fantasy. I would not start with Edward of Radiance, you know. So I think we're gonna start with this or Mistborn. The next book I read was Bite of Winter, and this is the 3rd book in the Face Captive series. And in this one, I can't tell you what we are doing, but you know, it's about this girl, and basically her friend is I think she's a fae, and she basically sends off the main character sends her off instead of herself, and basically the King of Winter basically knows that she is his mate and he wants to bring her to the Winter Realm. So, third book, they are really short, they are like 100 something pages each. I gave these 4 stars, really enjoyed it. I am a little traumatized after a unicorn scene, so I don't think I will ever look at unicorns the same. Let's just put it that way. And I don't think I can say anything else about this series, just because, you know, they are really short, and if you want something short, try it out. Try the first one, see if you like it. The next I read was Breach of Peace, and this is a short story from Daniel Green, and he is a booktuber, and I wanted to try this out. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of short stories. We all know this. We all know that I'm not the biggest fan of short stories. I need a connection to the characters. But you know, I don't. It's about this. It's a really political fantasy, and it's about this like police officer. I don't know what I'm going to call her. Basically, she is trying to figure out this crime, and things go very wrong. I think that is the only thing I'm going to say. I give it 3 stars. It was a really great debut, and if you like political fantasies, you can definitely try this out. And yeah, I am going to continue on reading this series. It's intriguing. It's not like my new favorite thing, but I definitely want to keep on going. Then we have Running Lean, and this book is basically for people who want to start a business. And you know, I just like reading business books so I can learn something, and you know, things like that. I gave this 4 stars. It was really informative, and I don't know what else to say basically. And then I read Assassin's Blade, and this is the short story, the novellas in the Throne of Glass. And I made a spoiler vlog. I will link that up in the cards. But I'm going to tell a little bit about this. It's, you know, the novellas. So you know how Selena got to the point she got in to Throne of Glass. And I don't know if I'm going to say anything more about that. I really think that you can rather start with this one or Throne of Glass if you are going to read this series. I started with Throne of Glass just because for me to like novella length stories, I usually need to know about the characters, especially in a fantasy series. So yeah, I gave this 5 stars. I actually really enjoyed it since I already knew Selena, and you know, that is one of the reasons why I really like this, and I can't wait to continue on with the Crown of Midnight to see, you know, when are we going to meet the people again from this series. The next book I read was Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and I read this one just so I got to know the Crows Club when I was watching Shadow and Bone. You don't have to read this before watching that. I just felt like I needed to know the characters, so I, you know, knew who they were. Basically, we are following Casbreaker, and he is offered kind of a like a impossible heist, and basically if he does that he will get so much wealth. And basically he needs to break into the ice court, and he needs to receive a hostage. And yeah, I'm not going to say much more about that than that. I give this 5 stars. I loved this. Yeah, I love this book, and I also loved how they connected these characters into Shadow and Bone. You know, things actually made sense, which is, you know, I think it's really great that they had Lee Bardugo on their team to, get it, so they had some background information. Then the next book I read was Paragon, and this is the 3rd book, I think, in the Lost Tribe of the Siths. And I don't know what I'm going to say. It's a short story. It's basically about a lost tribe of the Siths. I don't know how much more I'm going to say, It's starting to pick up. Basically, what happens is that a crew of Siths, they crash land on this planet, and they need to survive there, and I kind of don't know, like, how much, like, what they are trying to do. Then I read Diamond by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this is the 0.5, or the, like, short story novella to The Covenant, which is one of her first series. And we meet, I think her name is Alex, and basically she's a half-blood, and what happens is that something happens, and yeah, I don't know how much more I'm going to say. And I also gave this 3 stars. It's not like, I still don't like short stories that much, so it's not weird that this one is not that high. I'm going to continue on. Don't know how I'll feel about the series. It's, an older one. And yeah, that is kind of it. I hope you liked this video. And yeah, I hope I will see you next time for another video. Bye!